Hey guys, what's going on? Scals here. Tonight I am joined by Prince, Cam, and Nate. What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much, not much. Everybody enjoy the show that was last night?
Oh, man, it was great. Absolutely.
Really don't have an issue with last night, so I thought it was great.
It was probably exceeding my expectations for the show. I definitely will say that.
I mean,
Definitely.
my biggest worries whenever there's an AEW pay-per-view is how is Tony going to book this show, and why is it going to piss me off that he books it this way? And this, fortunately, was not the case last night at all.
Right.
Which
This
is
was one of those.
good.
Sorry, Styles.
No, go ahead, Prince.
This was one of those pay-per-views where I kind of had low expectations, and which was for me personally a good thing. And I was not upset with how anything ended. I felt like Nate said the booking was really great.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, to me, there were still some questionable decisions on it, but overall, much better than the pay-per-views have normally been lately for them.
Oh,
Right.
sure, yeah.
So, what match do we want to start off with? Any one of you guys piques your interest most?
So there's a couple I want to save to the end, actually.
Okay.
So,
Let's
like,
just start from the top. Jack and Luchasaurus.
we can go top to bottom on the card. That's fine with me.
I don't remember the order, but I'll have to get that.
So I'll pull the card up.
Okay.
But the first match was the steel cage.
So I didn't really see this match. This was one of the ones that I missed. So I'm gonna have to bow out of talking about this one.
Me too, because this was one match I tried watching, and I don't know what it was, but it was messing up for me.
Well, all right. I guess that means me and Cam get to go on this one. So Cam, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, so first it was pretty shocking that this match started first, but I'm glad it did. I thought it was a great match. There's a lot of big violent spots in the match or whatever. Very physical match. It was great. The thing that was questionable to me was I don't get how AEW cage matches work versus WWE cage matches work, because they got out of the cage and they were fighting outside the cage at one point. So to me, it wasn't really a cage match. It was more like a glorified AEW Hell in a Cell match. But other than that, I thought it was great. They used their environment. You know, they used the cage or whatever. I like the elbow off the top from Jungle Boy. The table almost didn't break, but luckily
That was a nasty spot.
that was nasty, and it worked out. So, but yeah, I thought this was a good match though overall.
So in reference to what you were saying, Cam, is there a roof on the cage?
No.
Okay.
No.
Like I said, I didn't watch it, so I don't know how their cages were. I don't remember seeing a cage for them outside Blood and Guts, and that's a whole different situation.
Right.
So it's
I'm
at
just
least.
used to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just used to the reason I say that's questionable is because I'm just used to the traditional climbing cage. You know, you get out, whatever.
And you win.
So to see them fighting outside the cage and the match still going on, and then them getting back in the cage, it's like, what's the point of the steel cage? You know what I mean? So I just thought that was.
So they did clarify on commentary before it started, which if you blinked, you missed it. But they said that in AEW only finish submissions in the steel cage. So that kind of I had to ask too because I missed it. But luckily my buddy was there listening and he said, "Oh, they just said that," and I'm like, "Oh." And the AEW cage is like 2 feet taller than a WWE cage, like at least, and it actually has like about a 6-inch gap between the cage and the ring. So like Jungle Boy was almost falling down there a few times. It was weird.
Yeah, yeah.
The match itself, booking wise, made a lot of sense. Luchasaurus was on the offensive for most of it. Jack Perry had to fight from underneath Jungle Boy. Christian even tried to come out, and that's the reason why they ended up spilling out of the cage, because he unlocked the door. Which that was one of the minor things that I had issues with on the show last night was, what was the point of the cage if they were just going to fight outside of it anyways? that was a small issue, a very small issue, but an issue that I thought nonetheless. But the booking for the match, again, aside from that little thing, dumb thing, great match. And Jungle Boy winning with blood pouring down his face was a great way to kick the show off. I'd give this match probably, I'd say 3.5 out of 5.
I did see his image from the media scrum where he still had blood on his face. So that was pretty epic. What was the next match on the card?
So the next match on the card was the AEW World Trios match, Death Triangle versus the Elite. So I will let one of you gentlemen go first.
So I missed the beginning of this match, so I can't. I couldn't get to hear that Shadow was right with them coming out to Kansas.
Yeah.
But from what I saw in this match, I mean, it's your typical Young Bucks and Lucha Bros spot fest throughout the entire show. But oh my God, some of the moves that you saw were just insane.
Absolutely.
I loved how they did the finish because like I said on Friday, I believed the Elite was going to win. Like, I figured they were going to win. Like, they would do it because, you know, it's the Elite. They're EVPs. They do what they want. But the way that they did the ending on this match made me... And that's what got my mind in a more reasonable state that this pay-per-view could actually be booked correctly, was of how they had Death Triangle retain. So that got my hopes up for the rest of the pay-per-view. But overall, that match, to me, was a 4 out of 5.
Now, this match was definitely one of my personal favorite matches. I didn't get to see the intro for the Bucks, but watching the end alone was so amazing. I honestly thought Bucks and Omega were going to get the win. I really did. And I am happy with the booking on this at that decision. This right here is a 4.5 for me. Just mainly because of the booking for this. This was awesome. You know, Tony swerved us, and you know what? That was friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So this was one of the matches where, again, I thought the booking was fantastic. We've seen the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers go at it before, and they had one of the greatest tag team matches of all time when they had that steel cage match together. We know they can bring it against each other. The question was, the Bucks and Kenny Omega, more importantly, have had so much time off. Kenny Omega came back for one match and was suspended immediately. He's had one match in the last year and a half, just about. So, was there going to be ring rust? Nope. The chemistry that these two teams have is off the charts. And to announce a best-of-7 series immediately following this match, amazing idea. I think it's pretty obvious they're going to want to get 7 matches out of these guys. So it's probably going to go back and forth, or maybe 3 wins. I don't know, but it's going to get to 7 somehow.
I don't like
so
that
we're going to
idea.
keep seeing how creative these guys can get, because the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks are 2 of the greatest tag teams on the planet. And the chemistry they have with each other, again, off the charts. Kenny Omega can work with anybody and put on a great match. So can Pac. So it's going to be an electric rivalry from here on out. And I think to have the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega come in and lose that match was great booking on Tony Khan's part. It shows they're committed to Death Triangle as a stable. And they're not going to let... Kenny and the Young Bucks are not going to take ego over quality product. So, the Elite, they can lose 20, 30, 40 matches in a row. They're still going to be the most over guys on the roster. They're partial owners and EVPs of the company, They're not going anywhere. Death Triangle needed that win last night. They got it. It was a statement victory, and now we can go on. This was probably my second favorite match of the night. I'm going to say it's 4 stars.
I think this was a absolutely phenomenal match. man, probably one of my favorite moments of the match was that Death Triangle Trios Tombstone. That was crazy. Like that was pretty dope. And of course, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is probably one of my favorite wrestlers on the AEW roster. He looked like $1,000,000. He came back in phenomenal shape, and he just does what Kenny does best, and that's just put on human highlight reels and just makes us love AEW even more and love Kenny Omega even more. So, yeah, I definitely think this was the match of the night easily. I'm pretty sure I called that. So yeah, in a match of seven, 7 series between these 6 men is going to be like the Olympics for these 6 men. It's just going to be phenomenal. So yeah, and I give this a 5-5. Yeah, it was a great match of the night, easily.
All right. In regards to the 7 matches, I feel like that's going to be overkill between these two. Because AEW is one of those companies that hated to do rematches, and now they built in a 7-match set. So that's my only downfall with that one. And in regards to what you just said, Cam, about the Olympics, did you see what Jericho said? How he wants to make pro wrestling an Olympic sport? Where they can go for medals?
Interesting.
And people immediately said, but how can you do that? It's scripted. And his response was, aren't ice skating routine scripted?
I mean,
How well
he had a point. It's about how well you execute the match. He has a point.
Oh yeah, I can't disagree with that. Yeah.
I've
I mean,
read
the Olympics is a joke at this point anyway, so why not?
I read somewhere that for this best of 7 series, that if one team gets 4 wins, that they get the titles. So right now, that triangle is 1-0. So that means that triangle only has to win 3 more times to retain the titles.
Does that match count as match 1?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they counted that.
Okay, I missed that. I just saw the best of 7. I didn't see that one counted as 1. Okay, so there's only 6 more.
Yeah.
Well, technically, if you think about it, yes, there's 6 more.
Potential for 6, I should say.
Yes,
Right.
potential. Yes.
What was the next match, Nate?
The next match was Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose for the TBS Championship.
This is where everybody was getting.
We want to scoot right through this one.
Oh, you mean like we did on Cam's stream last night, and everybody got mad that Shadow came in and started talking? Because no one cared about this match then. The match was put in a rough spot to begin with. You should not have had them follow that match, because the crowd was so hyped up, and then you have them two come out, and it's just nowhere near the same intensity that the previous match was. So they were set up to fail, and that's unfortunate for them. Even though no one wanted to watch it anyway, it still puts them in a rough spot.
Well, I think Tony knew that, and he realized how hot the crowd was, especially after the trios match. So he put that match next, not necessarily thinking, oh, this match is going to be the best match to follow, yada yada. It's the best match to follow the trios match because he wanted to kind of like settle them down. I talked this about Shadow. Talked to this with Shadow, and he did it to kind of settle the crowd a little bit, so they're not like exerting so much energy off of another hype match right after the trios match, and then be tired the rest of the card. So, yeah, that's why he did it.
I guess I can understand that. Overall, to me, the match was just a 2 out of 5.
I wouldn't even go that far.
I gave it a 2.75.
Jade is a terrible ring worker. I hate to say that. I like her presence. I like her aura. She's got a lot of work to do still in the ring. All her matches are the same wash, rinse, repeat, and it's boring. And someone needs to step up and actually give her a good match. And Tony Khan has to book that good match. Like, he can't just be like, all right, Jade, this person's going to act like a threat. You're going to beat them in 6 minutes. Come on.
But who could that be? Who could that good match be?
Her Statlander, when she comes back from her injury. It could have been Athena. It should have been Athena.
I don't.
But no, Athena was fed to her in a 6-minute match.
Yeah.
It would have been a great choice to go up against Jade and actually take her out for the title. We've seen Athena before she came to AEW and how great she was. She's getting even better. So that would have been a perfect dub for Athena.
Mm-hmm.
But the match itself, I don't really have an opinion on it, honestly, except for the fact that Nyla Rose didn't win. Anyways, that's beside the point.
The next one, was that the old man match?
Yeah.
Sting and Darby versus...
Sting and Darby versus... Yeah.
The old man match.
Yep. Yeah. 3 guys over the age of 45. 1 guy at like 24.
Cam, you want to start this one?
Yeah, I'll start. So pretty much it was a surprising match. I didn't expect this match to be that good. It wasn't, fantastic or anything or whatever, but it was a surprisingly good match. It was, it was entertaining for what it was. I'm just glad that Jeff Jarrett got slapped around. I can't stand Jeff Jarrett. But it was good. Sting did his thing. He's a maniac at his age. He's still jumping off balconies and things like that. Darby obviously, I think, carried this match. He did what he was supposed to do, and he won the match for him and Sting. So yeah, I'll probably give it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't too bad.
We also went way out of order with that, but
that wasn't next.
No, that was almost at the end of the show, but that's all right.
Really?
Yeah,
that's all right. We don't have to go in order, but
I thought that was next because that match was as I was driving home, so I really didn't see it, which was a great thing because I didn't really want to watch it. I did see parts of it, but isn't Sting still like undefeated?
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett should just not be on TV ever, period, at all.
I agree with that one.
He gets into companies too often that let him book himself. He's Hulk Hogan without the marketability. His ego is that big. It's disgusting. And Tony Khan was like, yeah, Jeff Jarrett, I watched you when I was a kid. Come wrestle Sting. Like you didn't wrestle Sting 10 years ago in Impact and 25 years ago in WCW.
I couldn't stand him when he was in TNA. I hated him as a kid.
Jeff Jarrett, period. And when he's guess what? When he's in WWE, he doesn't get booked into matches. He gets a special ref spot once. Not a big deal.
Yeah, because it's all about him. That's why he left.
All about Jeff Jarrett.
If it's not about Jeff, he leaves companies. Yep. And he wants a company to be about him and him alone. That's it.
So
sorry, Nate.
I'm almost done. The sheer fact that Jeff Jarrett was on TV made this match really, really hard for me to watch. However, Sting and Darby winning was the right call. Darby Allin did a great job with that match. He's a good worker. He's just too reckless. I'm afraid he's going to kill himself. And Sting is 62, and that chokeslam looked like it broke his ribs. That match, I'd say, was probably a 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I probably give the match about a 2.25 out of 5.
I'd probably give it about a 2. The whole Jeff Jarrett getting slapped around, always fun. That's it. Honestly, really, just like you guys, I don't give 2 shits about Jarrett. He's an ass.
Yep.
He's only destroyed 2 companies. Why is he trying to make it a 3rd?
Yeah,
I hope
third
not.
time's the charm.
Oh gosh.
Third time's the charm with this man.
Yep. So putting that match in the rearview mirror, we can circle back to the match that followed the TBS Championship match, and that was the Fatal 4-Way Ring of Honor World Championship match between Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Sammy Guevara, and current champion Chris Jericho.
Oof. This was my favorite match of the night. It just was so good. Everybody was involved. You had Sammy, it started out slow and boring. It started out as a tag match, essentially. And then when they started going after each other, it just like ramped up like from 0 to 60 in like a 3 seconds. It was just so crazy how fast it changed. And then that was it. Once they were off, nothing was out of bounds. And the spin, the swing by Claudio, the different moves. The only thing I didn't like was the ending, the way that they did it, with Jericho was like nowhere to be seen, and then all of a sudden he comes in, steals the pin, and keeps the title, which is what I said in Cam's stream. I said Jericho's going to come back in and steal the pin, because everything throughout that match had Sammy winning it, and now I'm curious to see what's going to happen after, and where this, if there's going to be tension between the two. But to me, this match was a 4.5 out of 5 after everything got started and going.
So for me, this match, I think, four guys that are at this point incapable of having a truly bad match. Jericho's one of the best to ever do it. Danielson and Claudio are at the top of their game. Sammy Guevara, as much as I don't like him as a person, I hate his guts. He's a really talented worker. He's a really good heel, and I really want him to grow up. Because if he grows up and stops acting like this high schooler, picking fights with people bigger than him, because I don't even know why he does it.
I was going to say, I think everybody's going to be bigger than him.
He's a little dickhead. So, whatever this chip is that's on his shoulder, I think he needs to get rid of it. He's a great worker. And the indicator of that, actually, this match was actually kind of a turning point for how I look at Sammy Guevara. Because Chris Jericho and him had that stare-off, and they were like pushing each other, and all of a sudden I'm like, I want fucking Sammy to win this. I want Sammy to win this match right fucking now. And I was upset that he didn't. And I'm like, that's weird. I've never thought that in my entire life watching this kid. So, like, I wanted him to beat Chris Jericho. The match itself, great match. Again, I thought the booking was good. I thought Chris Jericho getting the pin over Claudio was, I know a lot of people are going to bitch about it, but the truth is Claudio is, a lot of people don't want to admit it, but he's not that guy. He's not, he got the world title reign that he deserved, but he's not the guy that's going to carry your company. That's a guy like Danielson or Jericho or Guevara if he grows up. But I give this match a 4.
I think I agree with what Matt said. It started out pretty lame because it basically was just a tag team match. You had Sammy and Jericho teaming up, and then you had, Claudio and Danielson teaming up. But once that broke down and it was actually a Fatal 4-Way match, that's when the real match started, if you ask me. And I'm sorry, but I don't care what anybody says, but Sammy Guevara is a star. Like, the man was a human highlight reel in this match. I mean, he's coming off the top rope, he's suicide diving, he's doing it all. The fact that he didn't win was a little bit surprising. I mean, I didn't expect him to win, but I mean, everything that he did in this match kind of felt like he was going to win this match. Of course, I love Jericho, obviously. He can do no wrong in my eyes. So Jericho winning this match, obviously, was the right call for right now. I will say, as far as Claudio and Danielson go, they did their thing, obviously. But as well as they work together, I would say put them together as a tag team. Like, I know they're in the BCC already, but put them together as an actual tag team. I think that would be great. They worked well in this match, even though it wasn't a tag team match. But they worked really well together. Their chemistry is amazing. So I say Claudio and Danielson as a tag team in the tag team division would be amazing, and it would benefit the tag team division. So I give this a 3.7 out of 5. I think it was a pretty good match.
So this match for me, I wasn't, again, Wi-Fi connection, sadly, bullshit Wi-Fi. I really wasn't able to watch this match in full, but from what I was able to see, Sammy took that show. He ran with it. I'm not surprised he or anyone else didn't win, because I knew for a fact, just like I'm sure a lot of people did, that Jericho was going to win. Because any match Jericho has from this point on, right, from the time he won that title till now and until the future, he's always going to win that match, especially if the title's on the line, because this way here is where the business part kicks in. They are trying to get that Ring of Honor deal with TV or however, whatever they're trying to do. But there's a business side to Jericho being champion. Because let's face it, I don't see Jericho really winning that Ring of Honor title or going for it if there wasn't no TV deal. I feel like we are repeating history for AEW all over again, but this time with Ring of Honor because Jericho brought AEW to the forefront as best as he could. So they're trying to repeat history with this whole Ring of Honor situation. That's why he's going to be holding on to that title for a lot longer than anyone is hoping for.
I definitely could agree with that sentiment. Tony Khan addressed the Ring of Honor situation, saying that he could have them on a YouTube show, but he feels that they're bigger than that.
Oh, way
Ring of
bigger
Honor.
than that.
Ring of
definitely
Honor
are.
deserves more respect than that.
Yeah, I understand that, but at least it would be able to separate the two and get
Right.
the
It's just-
Ring of Honor belts off of AEW TV because that's what's partly bringing it down, in my opinion.
Too oversaturated.
I mean, I'd say start Ring of Honor on the YouTube thing
Mhm.
and move them to a TV deal.
Well,
'Cause I
right,
wouldn't-
while you're working the TV deal, have them have their own hour show on YouTube to build up the audience back to get it back out there and do that. But we'll see.
I got a question to ask you guys because I'm confused on something. Why can't they do something like what WWE did when they had the network? Something's not connecting to me, so I don't get why they can't do that.
So it takes a lot to run your own
Streaming service.
digital streaming network service type that. AEW is not built for that yet. While Tony Khan, Daddy Khan probably has the money to do it,
Right.
they don't feel it's that time yet for them. Because what are they going to do? Use it for just for reruns of their shows and for Ring of Honor? They're not going to put their pay-per-views on there. They're making too much money through Bleacher Report fights in that way and traditional pay-per-view money. They're not going to go put that on a streaming service and bring that down to $10 an hour, $10 a month, and whatever.
They could do 20. They don't have to do 10. People will pay $20 or 30. You know.
Yeah, but they're not going to pay they're not going to pay $20 a month for one pay-per-view every 4 months, and there's nothing else on the network. They have nothing built up. They need to start building up different things in order to do it. Unless you're going to put Dark and Elevation and just make that on. But, right, no one watches them on YouTube. Who's going to watch them on the network?
They're inconsequential. It's like main event superstars. Nobody watches those.
Right.
Fair enough. Okay, I get now. That makes sense when you break it down like that. All right.
It's just
If they
too
ever-
much money for not enough reward.
If they ever
Okay.
did like a second hour for Rampage, and you had the first hour on your channel to leading into the TNT hour, that might make a difference. Where you're getting an exclusive show for AEW that's actually meaningful, not like
And-
Dark and Elevation.
And Rampage could actually stand to be 2 hours long.
Right.
There's so many people on the roster. But
So that
Sure.
could be a way that they do that, but that's down the road. That's not happening soon.
right. So moving on from the Ring of Honor World Championship match, we got a match that we probably didn't think we were ever going to see. We got to see Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Oh my God, DMD.
You sound like
take on
Shadow, because he says DMB too.
That's the first time I've ever messed that up. Oh my God. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus the returning Saraya. Her first match in wrestling in over 5 years.
I'm not starting off on this one.
Prince can go. Let's go, Prince.
All right. So I enjoyed this match for what we got. I loved how Saraya looked, but at the same time, I wasn't truly able to get into this match because the thoughts that were going through my head, like, yo, oh shit, she fell. Oh shit, like what's gonna happen? Is she okay? Like, oh shit, is she holding her neck? Is she holding her head? What's going on? You know, so I was kind of nervous throughout the whole match. They did a fucking great job, honestly, better than I thought it went. Britt Baker made that shit look good. Soraya did a great fucking job looking good. I felt like that match at least was a straight up 4. For me personally, it was great seeing Soraya back in the ring, but at the same time, it was nerve wracking. But I enjoyed it for what we got.
Yeah, I agree with Prince on that one. This match was very odd. It was very slow and kind of like sluggish. I didn't really know. I guess I can't be too harsh because didn't really know what to expect from this match. I mean, it's Soraya's first match back, but they took some very unnecessary spots with her and her neck or whatever. Like I think hit her with a swinging DDT on the outside of the ring. That looked unnecessarily dangerous, and it was scary. It was weird. Like I agree with Prince. Like every move that got hit on Soraya, it was like, oh man, that doesn't look good. She looked like she landed awkwardly. They took too many risks, if you ask me. It just was unnecessary. But I mean, it was okay for what it was, I guess. They didn't completely destroy Britt's momentum because I knew Saraya was winning this match. She hit her with 2 page turners or whatever her finishing move's called now, instead of just one. So, but it was an okay match, I guess. I give this match a 3-2 out of 5. It was okay.
So, I again, I'm in the boat where I wasn't sure what to expect out of this match. As soon as Saraya came out from behind the curtain, you could see the emotion in her face that this was a huge thing for her because wrestling was all she ever knew. It's all she's ever wanted to do, and she had it ripped away from her she was 25 years old when she had it ripped away from her, and to be that young and have no idea what you're going to do with the rest of your life, the thing that you wanted to do just got taken from you. That was what this was all about. Was that moment for her. So this match was never going to be super pretty because she's been out of the ring for 5 years. She was probably nervous as all hell. So I wasn't expecting a classic out of this match. That being said, Britt Baker is a consummate professional. She carried this match to better than it probably should have been. Britt Baker made her look better than she probably would have looked with anyone else in that ring. And, I mean, she's a pro's pro, honestly. Britt Baker is a pro's pro. And she deserves a lot of recognition for that because that was not a very enviable position for her to be in. But she did it. She did her job. She did it well. And the match itself exceeded my expectations. But it wasn't a barn burner. I'd say probably 2.5.
So, you all know my disdain for Britt Baker. I think she was screwed over in this match. I don't care about the emotion for Saraya. I don't care that it's her first match in 5 years. Saraya probably said to Britt Baker, do all these moves on me because I want to prove to everybody that I'm clear. Like, she made it all about her. And to have that match, what did it go, like 15 minutes, roughly around that? 13 minutes, somewhere in that area?
Oh, yeah.
To have Britt Baker dominate the entire match and carry the entire match outside of a few moves and then Paige doing her finisher, to me was disrespectful to the women's division that has been in AEW. Britt Baker deserved to have the win. And Saraya, yeah, I'm glad she's wrestling again. I'm glad she's back. But when she opens her mouth, it's like I just want to turn off the volume because her voice is annoying. She says the same things over and over and over. She never has coherent thoughts on what she's actually trying to say because she just starts stumbling. To me, Britt Baker should have won this match. Overall, the match to me was a 2 out of 5.
Interesting.
And I don't like Britt Baker. I think I've said my opinions before. I'm not going to go into it again.
Yeah, differing opinions here. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
But see, Matt, now you see what I'm saying though, because I said this with the prediction show. I said I believe that Saraya is the female CM Punk right now.
Oh,
because she's coming in preaching this, this revolution, and I'm here to help and all this, but it's slowly going to be about her, and then she's slowly gonna slither her way into the title picture, and they're absolutely gonna put the title on Soraya. I
yeah,
don't care what anybody says.
she's gonna beat Jade. She's gonna beat Jade for the TBS. That's what's gonna
Yes.
happen.
Probably, yeah, probably. And
That's what's gonna happen. And it won't make sense because Tony Khan never does anything that makes sense. That's all we ask. Make it make sense. And he doesn't.
If they can make it make sense, then I'm perfectly okay with her taking the title off of Jade.
But they won't.
But if she goes anywhere near Jamie Hayter, I'm gonna bust a nut in a bad way. I'm gonna flip shit. Jamie Hayter, we'll get to Jamie Hayter later.
Yes.
But yes, I agree. If she can win the title off of Jade, that's fine. Just make it make sense. So, moving on from the very fragile neck of Saraya, onto some big, meaty men slapping meat. We have the TNT Championship triple threat match: Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ring of Honor Pure TV Champion, or World TV Champion Samoa Joe. I think that's what he is right now. Yeah, World TV Champion. Who wants to start this one?
So, alright, I like this match. I thought it was great, but the thing is, I felt throughout the match that Hobbs was going to win, or at least Wardlow was going to retain. It was the end that really, it didn't shock me, but it was like kind of somewhat surprising. Not too much. So, I mean, it was a good match for what it was. I was hoping for Hobbs to win. I would have liked to see him get ahead. I feel like he's one of those guys that could help bring this into the next 3 years for AEW. I think if given the chance, he can prove everybody, all the doubters, wrong. I don't think he should be in the spot that he's in. I think he should be climbing the ladder a little bit faster than what he is, honestly. This match itself, for me, I would say 4.5 for me.
Wow.
So kind of going off what Prince is kind of saying, it was a surprising ending. I didn't see Samoa Joe winning this match. But I'll say this, because I know a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, Hobbs could be the next guy, and Hobbs got buried, and blah, 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 blah. I'll say this. I was not really for Hobbs winning this match, because I don't think he's ready. I like Hobbs. I like him in the ring. His mic skills, I'm not really quite sure about. But putting the title on Hobbs, I think, would have been an anchor around his ankles, because he's just not ready right now. I just don't. And I think putting the title on him, it wouldn't have gone anywhere, because he doesn't have any sort of connection with the audience. He doesn't have any sort of. I know he has a personality. I know it's there, but it's not big and bright enough to where it's like, oh man, okay, this guy is going to be a star. I get it. I'm connecting with him now. So he's there. He's right there, but they need to work on him just a little bit more. And I think that's why he ate the pin. So yeah, I think they're gonna work on Hobbs. Hobbs didn't get buried. I don't think so at all. I think he's going to still develop and transform or whatever.
Right.
So other than that, this match was amazing. It was, of course, big meaty men slapping meat. And I think Joe carried. I think this puts Joe in a position where Samoa Joe is back, because I miss the old violent Samoa Joe that we all know and love. So this puts Samoa Joe back in the spotlight. I don't think he'll be champion for very, very long, but it does put him in the spotlight to be the Samoa Joe of old. So it was a great match. I give this match a 3.92 out of 5.
Okay. And again, piggybacking off the Samoa Joe thing, Samoa Joe is a guy that you don't really lose much just by losing to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has been in this business since 1999. He's been around the block. He has worked for the top companies in the world, including Ring of Honor and WWE and Impact, and he has been the top dog in all of them, minus WWE, which injuries were the reason for that, so I get it, but the dude is just a world-class athlete, you know what I mean? He is violent, he's legitimately scary, and I wasn't excited for this match at all until Samoa Joe cut a promo last week. I had no reason to give a shit about this match because I don't think Wardlow's very interesting at all. No offense to Wardlow, I don't think his title reign was an unmitigated disaster.
Well, it's because of the way they buried him before going into it.
Yes, that title to him is exactly what it would have been to Powerhouse Hobbs had he won last night. An anchor, and he would have sank because he's not ready. Samoa Joe, on the other hand, Ring of Honor alumni, Ring of Honor Hall of Famer, trying to get Ring of Honor a TV deal. He's the Ring of Honor World TV Champion. Give him the TNT belt also. Now you got Turner Broadcasting talking a little bit. Oh, we got this guy who's also recognizable. You've got Chris Jericho holding the belt. You've got Samoa Joe holding 2 belts. We could get a TV deal out of this. So I think it was a business thing.
I will say this too, not to cut you off. I will say this too. I forgot to mention that. I know a lot of people are saying, mixed feelings about Wardlow or whatever, but he showed out in this match. Like, absolutely. Yeah. This was probably one of his best matches. And that's what Wardlow needs. He doesn't need these matches where people are being fed to him and it's just Powerbomb Symphony 1, 2, 3. No. That's gonna kill him. He needs to be challenged. Absolutely. So.
Well, there was the one match that he had a couple weeks ago that was really good too. Was it Ethan Page or Brian Cage or one of those guys that he went after? Brian Cage. They put on a banger. And I'm like, listen, if Wardlow can go like this, why not let him go like this? Because I've spent the last 2 years watching Wardlow thinking he can't wrestle for shit. He can. But he's just not booked like he can. He's booked like Goldberg. Like, right. I don't want to see that. I want to see this guy put on a show because that's what he's good at. He needs some mic skills. He's got to develop his mic skills a little better. But he's intense, he's strong, and he can actually work a match without getting gassed. We know this. But I think taking the title off of him was the right call right now. And putting it on Hobbs would have been a disaster too. So they kind of poked themselves into a corner with this one. Joe winning was the right call. The match itself, I would say, is 3.5 for me. But good match, though.
While I understand why they did it, I don't agree with it. Wardlow had such momentum going into winning the TNT Championship, and then he just was derailed. And his run was lackluster. They had the chance to build up his run and make it meaningful again with him pinning Samoa Joe and getting the notoriety from doing that. I felt that would have made the TNT title more impactful because he is beating another champion and he is getting all the history that Samoa Joe has brought, and he's using that to help raise up his notoriety within AEW. So, to me, that would have been the right route to go. Overall, though, this match was really good. I'm giving it a 3.75 out of 4. I don't like that they did make Hobbs take 2...
You mean
3.75 out of 5, sorry. I don't like that they made Hobbs take as many power bombs as he did, because it was like almost like he's burying them, so to speak, figuratively, with all of them. But overall, like I said, match was really good.
I agree. So moving on after that was actually Sting and Darby Allin versus Jeff Jarrett and what's his name? Oh my God, Jay Lethal. Jesus. Okay.
Ric Flair Jr.
What's that?
Ric Flair Jr.
Yeah. Right. So we already went over that. So moving on to the match that I personally think was match of the night, and that was the Women's World Championship match between Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter. And if I could go first on this one, I would love to.
Go right ahead.
So, I have been a huge fan of Jamie Hayter for a long, long time. Anyone who's ever been in a live with me, whenever she does something on TV, I'm like, strap a rocket ship to her right fucking now. She is a great ring worker. She cuts excellent promos. She's an amazing heel. And from the looks of it, she could be a great babyface too. The crowd is fully behind her. Toni Storm was the babyface in that match. I didn't hear a single Toni Storm chant last night. It was Jamie Hayter all the way through. So I'm sitting here biting my nails this entire fucking match, thinking they're gonna put Toni Storm over Jamie Hayter, and I'm gonna be pissed. Because ever since Toni Storm showed up, I've had zero reason to care about her. Zero. No character development. Awful promos. She was Thunder Rosa's buddy. That's it. That's all I had to go off of. She's a great ring worker. I like Toni Storm. But what do I have to care about her for? No reason. So, yeah, the match might have been a little bit overbooked with the interference from Britt Baker and who's the other one that's in that group with them? What's her name?
Rebel, whatever her name is.
Rebel.
Yeah,
something?
Rebel. Rebby. Or
Rebel. So like it was a little bit overbooked, and that's a minor nitpick from me. But overall, Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter put on an absolute banger, and it was probably the best women's match that company has had since Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. That lights out match that they had almost 2 years ago now. I feel like this was the best women's divisions match that they have had since then. It was an absolute banger. The crowd was electric for it, and the right person won. Jamie Hayter deserves to be the, not interim champion, she deserves to be the women's world champion. I don't care what Thunder Rosa's doing. Get the belt off of her. Or put Jamie Hayter over her when she does come back. I don't care. But the right person won this match. And I think this match was a 4.5 out of 5 for me.
My only thoughts... sorry, Cam. My only thoughts about the interim thing is if they change it now, Toni Storm's reign still means nothing. It's like she never... Right, but if they would have changed it when she had it, she would have at least got recognized as holding the belt. That's all. That's all I want to say.
And that's why the interim thing is stupid.
Oh, I agree.
As Thunder Rosa, apparently she might not even come back. So like,
yeah, and
now you invalidated Toni Storm's run, which I didn't like her run anyways, but it was a world title run to me. So
and TK is contemplating pulling the interim tag off of it anyways. So he should have just made the match last night for that. That's what he should have done. That would have been the best way to do it. Sorry, Cam. You can go.
Yeah, I get what people say about Toni. I don't know. I got a soft spot for Toni. I think she's an incredible in-ring for worker. She works her ass off, honestly. But I get it because it's just not working. Her music hits now, and nobody cares. They're just sitting there going, "Who is this? Why do we care?" And that's a problem. It's definitely a problem if you are carrying a title with that company, or any company for that matter. But I mean, this was a great match, a great physical match. I think Toni had got like cut open on her nose or lip or something like that. That just added to the match. Physicality,
belt, and I think she broke her freaking nose. It looked gross, but continue.
Yeah, it was a nasty split. Now going off kind of what Nate said about it being overbooked with the interference, I thought that was great because I honestly, for some weird reason, I didn't see that coming, and I love it because I think that's Tony Khan's way of saying screw all of you that want them to break up. I say now, don't break them up because Jamie and Britt and Rebel they just mesh really well. Maybe break them up eventually, but right now they work together, and I like that. So the emotion in this match was great. All the near falls just had me on the edge of my seat, so it was amazing. I think it was a great match. This was a surprising match, I would say, and I definitely didn't see Hayter winning this match, but I give this a 4.2 out of 5.
Yeah, I did not see Jamie winning at all. Am I upset that she won? Hell no. I'm curious to see what's going to be the next step for this. And honestly, normally I'm cool with factions or tag teams, whatever, being broken up after a big title win. This is one where it's like, no, this needs to stick. I do feel we will get a breakup because Britt might eventually start getting jealous, where she's getting the notoriety and all that. But as of right now, there's no breakup. This match was really great. Jamie looked really fucking amazing in this match. She impressed me even more than what she's been able to do. And honestly, I'll tell you this match for me, honestly, 4.5. Really, I felt Jamie and Tony, they went after it. They looked so good doing it. Jamie doesn't really need to do much to look good. That gay that she came out with, I'm sorry, but the man side of me came out was like, I couldn't watch this match really after watching Jamie's entrance. Just put it that way. Good match though. I tried saying her name a few times. I tried saying her names a few times throughout the match, but I was like, "Mommy." No.
Jesus Christ.
This match surprised me in regards to how good it was. I did not expect Hayter to be that great in the ring. Just because I haven't really watched her wrestle that much. She's got any injuries before, so she's always had she hasn't had that many matches with an AEW, so I don't know her too much outside of here. But that match really impressed me last night. And it wasn't as if Tony was carrying her. It was even, like both were doing it.
I just love that.
I will say that I did predict Jamie winning the belt on the show the other night. So I was expecting it because Tony, even in WWE, she is not championship material to me. She should not have the belt. She's not that charismatic. She doesn't have the mic skills in order for her to be a good champion. So to me, overall, this match for me was a 4. But I really enjoyed the entire match.
I think the next logical progression in that storyline is, because if you heard, I don't know if you caught the mics last night, but you could hear Britt Baker saying it's Jamie's time after that match was over. It's Jamie's time. And to me, that says Prince kind of touched on this. Yeah, at first she's going to be happy for her friend, but that's going to grow into jealousy over time. And because Jamie Hayter is so over with the audience right now, Britt Baker is going to turn on her, is what I think is going to happen. Jamie's going to be a huge babyface in the process. Maybe Britt Baker even steals the title from her and makes her chase her to get it back. I think that would be a logical step in the story, too.
Didn't we just watch that with Nyla Rose and Jade?
No, I mean, like, she beats her for it and actually wins it.
Okay.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean, like, takes the belt and runs away, but, like...
I mean, that's what we just witnessed Nyla do.
Like, maybe they have some kind of, like... Because, like, they could tell this story, because there was a fatal 4-way match that had Jamie and Britt Baker in it, and Britt Baker stopped Jamie Hayter from winning it. Jamie Hayter had the match won. Britt Baker took it and didn't win the match, but prevented Jamie from winning it. So they could probably do something like that, where Jamie Hayter's about to have the match won, Britt Baker swoops in and pins someone else to win the title. I don't know. Hopefully not very near future, but in the future. That's how I would book it. But anyways, so we got our 2 more matches to go. The next one that we had was one that honestly kind of surprised me too. And that is the AEW World Tag Team Championship match between the Acclaimed, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, against Swerve and Our Glory, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee.
I wasn't impressed with this match. I didn't like how they did the heel turn for Swerve. I didn't like how they are breaking up that tag team. I felt it could have been done much better. And to have it happen the way it did, it didn't feel like it was... It felt like lackluster. Like, felt like they did it just to do it. Like, they could have built it up better. The right team won, regardless. They definitely need to keep the belts. And the only team that should beat them for the belts should be FTR. But I don't know if we're ever going to get to that because FTR has not wrestled on a pay-per-view this year. So I don't know how you have your top tag team, one of your top tag teams in the company, on 0 pay-per-views throughout the year.
Holding 3 championships for 3 different companies that's not AEW.
Right.
Oh.
And they were ranked number 1 before they did away with the rankings because they knew they didn't know how to do the rankings to begin with.
They did. Yeah, the rankings were dumb.
Right. So they finally got rid of them, and you haven't seen FTR since, except in some meaningless stuff. But to me, this match was a 3.5. I did enjoy it. I just didn't like the ending with the heel turning Keith Lee walking out.
I thought this was a decent match. I think I liked their match before when the Acclaimed won the tag team title. I think that match was slightly better. But this match had good pacing, had good emotion in it, kept the crowd somewhat in it. It was weird because the crowd, I think fatigue started to set in because the crowd was kind of like mild for this. And it was weird because the Acclaimed are the most over thing right now in AEW. So I thought they would be a lot more excited, a lot more hype for this match. I'm the complete opposite of Matt. I think Keith Lee walking out on Swerve was perfect. They didn't necessarily need it to get physical because it's just a minor tease for right now. So I think they'll obviously revisit it at a later date. But I thought that was perfect. But yeah, obviously the right team won. The Acclaimed are going to go probably on a long title run, if I had to guess, because they're the most over thing right now. So I give this a 3 out of 5.
Friends?
With this match, I'll tell you this. All right, so the heel turn, what they could have done instead of turning Swerve heel, they could have done it with both, right? But with that slap that Swerve gave him, that could have been the start of some serious competition between the two of them. Let's see who gets this win. Let's see who gets the loss. If you lose, I'm better than you in this match. Do a whole one-up on each other. This match I thought was pretty great for what it was. I'm giving it a 4 because the Acclaimed won. Everybody loves the Acclaim. I thought they looked really great during the match. Seeing how Swerve and Keith Lee, I always enjoy them. I think they do a bang-up job, so it's kind of like a salty taste where it's like it's fucked up that they broke them up. Honestly, it is. They could have stuck with both of them being heels. Honestly, they should have done that and watched them lose the match. That I would have been fine with. But breaking Swerve and Keith Lee up, I don't think is a good idea.
So it appears as though we're split on the whole Swerve thing. Swerve and Keith Lee. So I think, personally, Swerve and Keith Lee are 2 guys who should not be saddled in the tag team division to begin with. Swerve Strickland is a guy who could be main eventing pay-per-views. Keith Lee is a guy who has main evented pay-per-views and could do so more in the future. Anthony Bowens and Max Caster, I don't think they would thrive as solo stars, to be completely honest. I love them with what they're doing now. That rap they had last night was hilarious. The match itself was decent for what it was. They told a good story of working over Anthony Bowens' injured shoulder throughout the match. Made him look like a babyface in peril. Very, very well executed. Swerve is very underrated as a heel. I think his cockiness, his arrogance, and his, brash attitude is going to make him what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I'm not necessarily a monster heel, but like a truly despicable heel, like to the point where they'll have to take the Swerve's house out of his entrance. I think he could be that good of a heel. And Keith Lee is a guy that people just don't want to boo. So,
Right.
They're 2 guys who are bigger than the tag division, and I think they put them in there because they had nothing else for them to do, and now they have something else for them to do. They can feud with each other and move on to bigger and better things. Put Swerve in the TNT Championship race. Send Keith Lee after the world title if you have to. I don't care. Put MJF and Keith Lee together. I'd be all for that. That being said, I liked the heel turn. I thought it worked really well. I just thought it could have been. I guess, to Scals, what Scals was saying, it could have been built up more because there really wasn't much of Swerve saying, "Hey, let's do dastardly things to win these matches." Before this, it was just kind of the one time. See, with the Death Triangle, Pac's been trying to get them to use that hammer for weeks, and they finally used it and won the match. This case, he just goes, "Hey, pliers, let's break his fingers so they can't scissor." It's kind of dumb, but I do like the turn itself. I thought the turn was really well executed. Keith Lee is a natural babyface, and I think Swerve is a natural heel. So I think it was the right time. The match, I would say probably 3.5 out of 5. It didn't light the world on fire, but it was a lot of fun for me.
I'll say this too to what you were saying about Swerve. And what's cool about him being a heel is that I'm probably gonna get some hate for saying this, but he has like a Scott Hall like swag about him that makes
He
the
really
heel
does.
that makes the heel look cool. You know what I mean? He's just a cool heel. So
He's a badass, and he's tall. He's super tall, crazy athletic, and super charismatic. Like, what more do you want out of a heel?
right. So
In our chat, Nightmare said he put Keith Lee in the All Atlantic picture to bring some star power to it.
That's not a bad idea either. I like that idea. Maybe he goes there first before going on for the world title. Who knows? Lot of possibilities. I like that too. The All Atlantic could use some more focus on it.
I think he makes a great TNT champion at one point too.
Mhm.
I think.
So too. Him and Samoa Joe would put on some good matches.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I'm still mad we never got that Keith Lee versus Roman Reigns match in WWE.
Oh gosh, that was amazing.
Or Keith versus Brock.
Or Keith versus Brock, either one of them. I'm still
That's
mad we never got
enough.
those.
That standoff. So that we can talk about that another time. But that standoff at the Royal Rumble was amazing.
And then the one at Survivor Series.
Yep. So moving on to what seemed like a complete changing of the guard in AEW to truly move on to a new era, put CM Punk behind us, put these middle-aged 50-year-old Chris Jerichos in the main event scene behind us. Bring in the future. That future is Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman. And he took on Jon Moxley, the guy who has embodied what AEW's grit is all about for the last 3 years. Who wants to go first?
Yes, right here.
Here we go. Look at this. Everyone wants to go.
Yeah.
Yep. I saved all this motherfucking energy for this motherfucking match. Yeah, buddy. Let me tell you, Maxwell, Jacob, fucking Friedman. Oh my God, yes. With an epic fucking win. This is a 5-star motherfucking match. Kiss my ass if you don't like that. Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman finally, oh my God, finally getting that fucking title. Jon Moxley, I hate the fact that it was against Jon Moxley, because Moxley is definitely my guy. MJF, bigger, better, and a young age that could take this motherfucking company, run with it into another 3, 5, 10, 20 motherfucking years. MJF got that power. He got that swag. MJF, what you see is what the fuck you get. Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman. This man is a fucking genius. This man truly got us. This, oh my God, Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman for fucking president of the United States.
Oh my God.
You got another 9 years before you can do that.
I know, fuck yeah. That's the one time you'll ever see me vote is if Maxwell Jacob Friedman ever runs for president. Because I am going out there to those, and I'm checking MJF every single one. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, this man has what it takes at 25 motherfucking years old, winning the world motherfucking title. This is fucking perfect. This is how you take care of all the bullshit you put this man through for 3 fucking... This man stayed by your side for 3 motherfucking years. Now you're doing something about it. Tony Khan, thank you. Continue doing what the fuck you're doing, especially with MJF. This man is a money-making machine. You do not want to lose this man to anybody. Treat this man like you treat the Bucks and Omega And at one point, like you treated motherfucking CM Punk, this man 25 fucking years old will do fucking wonders for your company. Treat him right.
So, what were your thoughts on the match, Prince? What would you rate it?
The match was a 5. That match was a 5 motherfucking star. Let me tell you, there was so many damn motherfucking falls. And to the end alone was so friggin' fantastic. I wasn't really expecting anything with Regal, but then I seen him walking out, and I paid even more attention to it. I was like, what's he gonna do? Then, oh my god, that referee getting knocked down. Poor ref got knocked down so much. He was
Fucking
beaten
pushed
down
the
like,
rest
what
of the
the
match
fuck?
over too.
It was two refs.
Dude.
Two refs it happened to.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So, I didn't catch that part. Okay. But this match was great for what it was. We got the wrongs written. This is definitely a 5-star match. Mainly because the top guy won. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Moxley can go and finally take his well-deserved break that this man's been needing for a very long time. John Moxley has been through ups and downs, and let me tell you, this man helped make Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, look even better than what MJF could do himself. This match was definitely a 5-star match for me. It was so incredible. I was at the edge of my seat. You should have heard me fucking screaming off the top of my motherfucking lungs.
Damn.
Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to top that, but this was an incredible match. I 100% agree with Prince. It wasn't a bloodbath like I thought it was going to be, honestly, because we don't know that Moxley is a bleeder, obviously. But it was great. The tombstone on the apron that Max did was scary because I legit he was hurt. So that scared me a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, it was great. There's it's not so much these insane spots or moves they do in the ring. Sometimes a slow, methodical pace match is also a great part of the storytelling aspect of the match, and that's what this provided. It was great emotion, and they have great chemistry in the ring, Moxley and MJF. And of course, everybody predicted it. Pretty much everybody and their grandmother predicted it, that Regal did turn on Moxley. And I like the symbolic. He had the dynamite diamond ring loaded up, getting ready to use it, and then he didn't, and then Regal actually gave him the brass knucks, the classic brass knucks that Regal. So that even that in itself is symbolic to Regal, because he always used to use brass knucks in his matches. So that's symbolic right there. I love it, love it, love it. I give this match a 5 out of 5. Great match. MJF era has begun.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys watch the scrum afterwards?
Yeah, I heard it. Shadow played it.
I wasn't able to watch it yet.
Well,
I watched a bit and pieces.
Just go on to Denise Salcedo's Twitter. She puts the entire Maxwell Jacob Freeman scrum on there. It lasts literally like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And he walks in, pretty much says, "Fuck you all," and walks out.
Yep. He was going.
Fucking MJF, fucking Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Fucking awesome.
I just enjoyed the hell out of this match. I just sat there and watched it. Everything was great. I was very, very surprised that Moxley did not bleed. That's what he's been known for lately. Like, he has to bleed in every single match. Normally it's within the first 3 minutes of the match, so I was very impressed that it did not happen. It was hilarious when the first ref got knocked out and another ref came in and people thought it was the same one.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
And then that ref got knocked
where the
out.
confusion came
And
in.
then he got knocked out and the other ref got up and the match continued like nothing ever happened. What is Moxley's finishing move? It's out of my mind right now.
Paradigm Shift.
The Paradigm Shift, when he did it off the second rope, was epic. I thought that was done. But the little throw from the little toss of the brass knucks from Regal to Mox just sealed it, and it is his time. He needs. That's what this company needed to do. If they didn't do this, the company would still be going in circles. They needed to shift the entire structure of the company, and they did that in one match. I don't know if you guys saw what happened after it went off the air. A fan had recorded the BCC did come out.
Yeah.
They confronted
I saw
Moxley and they let him know what happened, and Moxley got pissed. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen going forward with both Moxley and Regal and the BCC overall.
A lot of questions.
So it just makes you want to watch, and it's finally time that they did something right. For me, the match was... I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5, even though it wasn't my match of the night. Just everything that happened with it just made the match itself.
So, there were, real quick before I get into the match, there's a few things that I caught that happened before and after the match. Number one, MJF motorboated a lady in the front row when he entered. I don't know who all caught that. He motorboated a chick, and he literally made the sound. All right. Number two, the flipping off of Regal and everyone. There was like 800 middle fingers flying before the match started. After the match was over, not only did MJF push the ref over, took the belt from him and just pushed him, he also pushed the security guard away from him that was helping him up the ramp. He just goes, fuck out of here. And then number four is what was most definitely a giant fuck you to CM Punk. He started doing snow angels on the ramp. I don't know if anyone caught that. MJF started doing snow angels on the fucking ramp.
Well,
and that was how the show went off the air.
He continued that with the scrum, because he did the Punk's pipe bomb in the media scrum too. So a man that is going to be essential to the pro wrestling business for at least the next 10 years. He's 26. He works a very methodical style. He works a Randy Orton style almost, where he doesn't take ridiculous bumps most of the time. Once in a while he will, but so does Randy Orton, and a very safe style. He works a style that's not going to get him injured all the time. He could be here 10, 15 years, maybe well into his 40s. So, that being said, I think last night was a true paradigm shift, pun intended, in AEW. We're going to get past these post-WWE guys, these guys who have been world champions all over the world, like Kenny Omega, and, Adam Page got his one run, but it was a disaster, so we'll not get into that. I think they're actually finally going to embrace the youth movement in this company, because there are so many guys on that roster who are good enough to headline pay-per-views for this company. You've got MJF, you've got Jungle Boy, you've got Ricky Starks, you've got Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow. The list goes on. The talent on that roster under the age of 30 is fucking insane. I don't know how they've been fucking it up for as long as they have. And the match itself, booked to perfection, Regal turning, I loved. It creates a million questions. What does the BCC do? How is Mox going to react? Is he going to be on TV Wednesday, or is he going to just disappear? What does the Blackpool Combat Club do from here? Who does MJF feud with next? Is it going to be someone from the BCC? Is it going to be Wardlow, since he doesn't have a title on him now? This is what we want. We want these questions that we don't have obvious answers for. Because when we have the obvious answers, it's boring. How many times has something been taken away because we know what the ending was going to be? Roman Reigns versus Triple H WrestleMania. One of the most boring main events ever, because why is 49-year-old Triple H going to win this match? You know what I mean? It's a time where now we can actually watch AEW and not be able to exactly predict what's going to happen, especially after the Elite showed up and lost last night. So, huge paradigm shift in the company. They're embracing this youth movement. I love it. We're going to see some excellent, excellent content from this company moving forward. And the fallout from All Out has been pretty much corrected. It's pretty much been corrected. They hit that ground. Tony Khan has handled it very, very well. And they are back on the upswing. And we're going to see a golden era of professional wrestling with what's happening in WWE.
and what's about to happen in AEW. And MJF is going to lead that charge for AEW. Match itself, I say, because I liked, as a match, 4.4 out of 5. But in terms of storytelling and booking, 5 out of 5, absolutely.
Overall, this pay-per-view was much better than expected.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this pay-per-view was going to be like a 7 out of 10. After everything that happened, for me, it jumps up to an 8.25. Based off of mostly the correct booking decisions, there are still some questionable ones, like I've covered throughout the show, but they are going in the right direction, and it feels like they're going back to what made AEW popular to start with. And I think that's going to be big for them, especially with the way WWE has gotten momentum lately. It's going to make wrestling great again.
I think this overall Full Gear was way better than I thought it would be. I thought they were going to get buried under the surplus of matches on the card once again, like they did with All Out. I'm looking at the comparison between my two notes, my predictions and my review notes from tonight. And on the predictions, I said this entire show was going to be like a 5.5 out of 10. But I was way blown away with Full Gear. Full Gear was amazing, and honestly, my final review and rating for Full Gear is a 9.8 out of 10. I think this was easily their best show they've had in a while. So yeah, it was great, absolutely. Also, I have to go circle back around to the trios match because it was something I forgot to mention. During that match, there was an FCM Punk chant.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yep.
Because we literally went from CM Punk chants for 7 years to FCM Punk just that fast. That's crazy.
And you had the Elite leading it.
Yeah.
And they're getting killed online for doing it because there's people are saying EVP should not be doing that. But
they're pro wrestlers and characters first.
Right.
So
it's the character that's doing it, not the EVP. And that's what people don't understand.
I mean, it might be both, but they can get away with saying it's the character.
Correct.
And I think indirectly, CM Punk has caused this wave of positive change in AEW. I mean, actually, maybe directly. Like, Tony Khan has been listening, and he's probably like, you know what? I've been booking like shit for 3 years, almost exclusively like shit for 3 years. My women's division's been booked like shit for 3 years. Maybe I should do something new. Maybe I should put some new faces in the forefront. Jamie Hayter's a homegrown talent. MJF's a homegrown talent. You know what I mean? Wardlow, homegrown talent. The sky is the limit at this point.
The acclaimed homegrown talents.
The acclaimed homegrown talents, absolutely. They don't have to rely on these post-WWE guys anymore. They really didn't to begin with. The Chris Jericho was the one that made sense because he was a free agent. He just got done working the Indies and New Japan and all that. He made sense. He made sense so he could bring some mainstream attention to the company. They didn't need to run with so many post-WWE guys, former WWE guys, as hard as they did. Yes, having them there was fine, but as much as they relied on them, they didn't need to, and they don't need to in the future. Their future is bright, their future is shining, and their future is Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman. Hopefully they can get him in 2024, because if they don't, WWE will get him and will make him an even bigger star than he could ever be in AEW.
As long as they let him say what he wants to say. And not
Triple H, I feel like, will. He won't be able to say fuck, but he can still say shit. They'll just have to censor it sometimes. But pay-per-view for me was a 9 out of 10, and I think the booking elevates it because some of the matches left a lot to be desired in terms of in-ring content, but the booking was virtually flawless across the board, so it's a 9 out of 10 for me.
This pay-per-view for me before when we did the predictions, I gave it a 6. I'm going as far as an 8.5, mainly because of booking. The fact that God himself fucking won. That's why it's got that big of a rating, because God, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, God won.
He's the
Again,
devil. What are
Maxwell
you talking
Jacob
about?
Friedman.
No.
To me,
Regal
he's a
is the devil.
motherfucking God. To me, he's a motherfucking God. Because real life fucking won. Nobody does it. A lot of people don't like MJF because he's a real ass motherfucker. Same for John Moxley. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, to me, is a motherfucking God.
Hell yeah, friends.
Last night was actually match 1 of that 7-match series, so we get them 6 more times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that. I still don't like the 7 thing. To me, it's not normally what AEW does and what they're about.
Well, I mean,
it reminds me too much of Cesaro and Sheamus, also.
which were bangers, all
I
7 of
know,
them.
but it formed a tag team at the end. What's this gonna
Yeah.
do? Break up the tag team? Like
No.
they
I
try.
think it
They
just
always
shows
try to
that
do
the-
something like similar to what WWE did in the past. Unless this is gonna be different.
It's funny. It's funny because I didn't like when they made them attack them out of that too. But
And then what happened?
we got the bar. They were freaking amazing. Like they just meshed so well together as a tag team. It was great. It didn't make sense when they did it at first, but it made sense towards the end.
That segment that they had where they started a bar fight and they were just beating the shit out of everyone else in the bar was so goddamn funny. And oh god, those two were priceless together. We could get into. We can talk about Sheamus and Cesaro. Mostly, I'm gonna say I like Cesaro. Don't get me wrong, but Sheamus is just one of those guys who can do anything that you ask him to do, and he's gonna make it work flawlessly. But yeah. Anyways, yes, haters gonna hate Nightmare. Haters gonna fucking hate. All right, go ahead.
But I mean, I think that's all we got. All we got for tonight. I agreed. Fun time. We said that them losing, the Elite losing, was actually the right choice.
Absolutely.
They don't need the titles, and it actually led into this 7-match series, which, as they just said, match 1 was from last night. What would be great out of this is we go before 7 matches, like it ends in 5, and you have Death Triangle win 4 out of 5, and it would make them even more impressive and more meaningful on that roster.
Right.
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with Death Triangle winning. The Elite can go back to doing singles feuds and stuff. They can be baby faces. They're pretty much clear baby faces right now. They can go back to doing whatever they want. Put the Young Bucks in a feud with the Acclaimed even. Give us a 3-way tag match with the Young Bucks, the Acclaimed, and FTR or something like that. The Young Bucks are at a point in their career where they can start putting people over, and they started with that last night, and they're bulletproof. And I was a long-time hater of the Young Bucks. I hated them for the longest time, but ever since AEW started, they have won me over completely, and now I am one of the biggest fans of the Young Bucks.
See, I only know them from AEW, so I'm at the point where I don't like them because to me their matches feel very repetitive, and they do the same things over and over. Like I don't like Kenny Omega's style of wrestling. He does like 1,000 V triggers in the match. To me, it's just the same thing over and over and over. But if you put him in a match that it's against somebody else, like I would be excited to watch the Ospreay versus Omega match that was just announced for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes.
Like that match, I want to see because I love Ospreay, and I just want to see if Kenny Omega has a different style because it's a New Japan type of match as opposed to AEW. Because I've never really seen him wrestle a New Japan style match, and I don't really want to go back and watch the old ones because it's not what he is now.
And I will say one thing about the Young Bucks. I'll make mine quick, and then you guys can say your thing. This is the last thing I need to say. One thing about the Young Bucks is their super kick party thing I don't know if a lot of people really notice this, but it's total satire. Like, they understand that too many super kicks like that is ridiculous, and that's exactly why they do it, because it pisses you off. Continue.
What was I even gonna say now? Oh, right. So with the Young Bucks, before AEW was even a thing, I knew of them from like Ring of Honor and New Japan. So obviously I knew they were a big deal from then. But AEW really got me introduced to their wrestling style because I had never seen them wrestle like a full match or whatever. As far as Kenny Omega goes, again, it's the same thing with him. Before AEW was a thing, I knew about him from Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now I have seen highlights of some of his bigger New Japan Pro Wrestling matches or whatever, and his matches against Okada are just crazy.
Perfection.
I seen some of those matches and I'm like, this dude's wild. Like, why is he not in WWE or whatever? It's crazy. So I think I've always liked Kenny Omega. I always have. I'm a huge
They
fan
were
of Kenny Omega.
close to getting him right before the Rumble a couple years back, and then Cody was like, "Hey, I have an idea. Let's start a company."
Yeah.
It's like
Been
it's all about timing.
Yeah, it is. I've always been a fan of Kenny Omega. I love his style. Um, his New Japan stuff never really watched much of. I'm trying to get into New Japan, especially some of Kenny's matches. I believe he had a match like 2 years ago or 3 years ago against Jericho, I believe it was.
hmm
That match was fucking fire from what I was able to see. Kenny Omega has always impressed me, and I want to see bigger and better things for him. Honestly, I would love to see him go back as a single star. And Bucks, you know what? I don't really have an issue with Bucks. I prefer Bucks to play more of a EVP role. Kenny Omega to do EVP also, but mix it up, do some matches. Let's focus on the video game even more, because Kenny Omega, he's forget the ring aspect. I mean, this man is just talented all around, in the ring, out of the ring, on the mic, off the mic, whether it's backstage, whatever this man does. I feel like he's always that guy that you want to be around. You're like, let me see what I can learn from you next. I feel like his way of thinking, the way he handles stuff is really fucking amazing. Great friggin' mindset, really.
But that being said, I feel everything we've gone over tonight has been enlightening. We've all shared our opinions on it, and I think there's really nothing much else to be said. So, Cam, where can we find you outside of here?
You can find me on TikTok at Cam's Wrestling Corner. You can also find me on Instagram at 317 Bacon Eggs and Cam.
Every time he says it, I laugh.
I love that. I love
That's why
that.
I just get him to say it just because I want him to say it. It's funny. Prince, where can we find you?
You can find me mainly on TikTok doing some funny, crazy, outlandish stuff. Always getting myself banned. 19-time world band champion. Let's go. Yeah, buddy. Woohoo.
You gotten banned 3 times in 20 minutes? I don't fucking think so. Continue.
You can find me at Arkham Prince with a number 3. I changed my nickname, did a little change. So it's just Arkham Prince with a number 3 at the end. Look me up. Watch my funny videos because I'm an asshole and I'm fucking funny. Yeah, buddy. Woo-hoo.
Nate, what about you?
So I'm pretty much mostly on TikTok these days. I'm gonna throw my tags in the chat there. Nate McNamara WB, and then the Wrestle Bros, which is my group page that I'm with. You've probably seen the Wrestle Bros on TikTok. We're a bunch of idiots. We're dumb. But yeah.
And then you can find us on YouTube at Off the Top LLC. We also have a TikTok that has been started as well. And then we are on Twitch where we are right now. We thank everybody for coming out tonight, and we hope to catch you all guys on our next episode. Have a great night.